Sarah Caron from the Crescent City Del Norte Chamber of Commerce. How are you doing, Sarah?
Hey.
So this time of year is usually like kind of a calm, sedate sort of thing for you, right? Before you? I had Kim Floyd from the fairgrounds in here talking about everything happening there, and I imagine that your lives are kind of parallel, especially in the month of June.
Very much so. Kim and I often
commiserate.
We commiserate. We can definitely relate. We came into the positions around the same time, and it's really great to have someone who knows the chaoticness that comes with being event planners for the community. And Kim definitely does an amazing job at the fair, and I'm so proud of her and the work that she's done, and it's been really great to see her in that role and see her finding her groove in it.
Well, I didn't realize it was a family tradition for her too until we sat down and started, put all those pieces together. That's
absolutely. Which cool. Is, those are hard shoes to fill, because her dad had been with the fairgrounds for 30 years.
Yeah, he's pushing 30 years.
Yeah. And everyone knows him, and it has been the same. And then with the changing of the guard, they had made some changes for her at the fairgrounds and kind of limited her, or changed the structure of things. So it's been, I feel for her having to move forward from how it's been, and
for 3 decades.
And then having to implement new procedures, and she has done it with dignity and grace, and I'm really, really proud of her.
Indeed. So our summers here in Del Norte County, if we were a mall, we'd have 2 anchor stores. And those anchor stores, and in between would be like a mall outlet for tortured analogies like this. But we've got 2 anchor stores. We've got the fair first week of August, and then, of course, the 4th of July. So I didn't realize, setting up today's show and everything, that we'd kind of be talking about our summer like this, because we talked with Kim earlier about the fair and other things they have going on. And here you are with the pamphlet. Oh, it's not even a pamphlet. That's a burly stick-it note. What is that thing? But it looks like a pamphlet. And you came in with all the information to bring us up to speed and get us fired up about the 4th of July.
Absolutely. So, of course, we are in the thick of the planning of this event. This event is such an incredible economic boost for our community. It brings anywhere from 10 to 30,000 people to our community, and the hotels every single hotel that I've talked to so far is already booked out for the 4th of July.
Yeah.
It brings people to our community. We get to showcase the best of what we have. Of course, our fireworks show is very famous for a big distance parameter. People come to our show. I actually spoke with a woman this week that lives in LA, and she comes up here to our 4th of July every year because it's, and I quote, better than Disneyland's fireworks show.
Oh.
So I thought that was a pretty amazing nod to our fireworks show.
Because we have an actual lighthouse, the fireworks, and not a fake castle.
Right.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. So, of course, the fireworks are shot off of the jetty with views of our beaches, our lighthouse. And, of course, most people say, well, it's just a colored fog show.
Sometimes.
Because some years it does happen where we still have these years where the big fireworks show is shot off out into the clouds,
right up into the fog.
$30,000 into the clouds, and that happens.
And see, for me, because I'm a basketball fan. Part of the NBA, part of any basketball game is you've got the variables, right? You've got the refs. You don't know how that's going to work. You've got things like that. I just take the fog as like, that's part of the experience, the 4th of July. And
but have you ever seen such beautiful colored fog in your life?
It's psychedelic. It's really, really cool.
But when those years are here, where the wind is just right, and the clouds and the fog have lifted, and we have the most spectacular fireworks show with the Battery Point Lighthouse in the view. And when, to me, one of my favorite things to do, and this is so cornball cheesy,
Okay.
when the fireworks are going off, is when it lights up everyone's faces. Instead of looking at the fireworks,
So you turn around,
I
right?
turn around and look, well, specifically at my kiddo.
Well, yeah,
and to see the fireworks lighting up her face and to be able to experience it through her eyes is just such a fun thing. And to look down the beach or down the way and see everyone's faces, it's really, a rewarding thing, because what this event is a community event.
Yes.
It includes everyone in our community, and a lot of us benefit from this. And so the hardest part, I think, of my job is going out and asking people for money. And like I said, it's $30,000 that
Just for the fireworks,
just for the fireworks. Now, Lucky 7 Casino, they give us $10,000 every year for the fireworks, and the city of Crescent City, they also give us $10,000.
Wow.
The rest of that money comes from the money that we make at our deck party, which is held, of course, on the 3rd of July every year. And we can go into more detail about the deck party. It's the funnest party of the year. But all of the money,
biggest party
the
of the year.
biggest, definitely. All of the money from the deck party and all of the alcohol sales and ticket sales for our raffle go to the fireworks show. Besides that, we, have bands and lots of entertainment in the park, both on the 3rd of July and the 4th of July. And it takes a lot of volunteers, a lot of money, and a lot of effort and love. And so I just really want to thank our entire community for everything that they do for this event, because it truly does take the entire community to pull this off.
So before we get into the things that are actually happening, you've got planned there, what sort of budget? What does it cost the chamber?
So, like I said, the fireworks are $30,000, and I would say everything else is probably another $10,000.
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
just I am definitely pulling that number from a stinky place. And so, but I would just kind of adding up a few things in my head, I would say another $10,000 for everything else to be covered. So we go out and we do solicit sponsorship from our members and from community members. And if anyone listening is interested in being a community sponsor, it's a really incredible opportunity, not only to get the exposure for your business, but it also, a lot of people say, well, you know what, my business is busy enough, I don't need anything.
But it's a community thing.
Exactly. That's the best part of it, is people will still donate because they know how much it brings to our community. And being able to have a good number of sponsors really enables us to be able to throw a really great event. We appreciate the community support so much with this event.
So if I were interested in becoming a community sponsor, donating money, what sort of exposure does a business get during the 4th of July?
So depending on the level of sponsorship, we have anywhere from $300 to $5,000. And depending on what you get, there are ads in all levels get an ad in the triplicate special section that we put out. The special section goes out to the 5,000 triplicate subscribers, but also starting last year, we started handing them out on the parade route. So typically what had happened before is we would get 500 extra and we would go deliver them to the hotels, because most of the people visiting are staying at the hotels and they'll grab it for the weekend. Well, I started thinking, well, where are they all at? They're all lined up for the parade.
True, right? Same audience. Yeah.
So last year, I went out and handed out the entire stack, and in the morning, just as an afterthought. Oh, let's go. So this year, we're actually planning, and we got double that amount. So if you get an ad in this special section, that means 6,000 people minimum are going to put their eyes on that.
Wow.
So that's a really great exposure for the business. And depending on the amount of the sponsorship, you get bigger ads, the bigger the sponsorship is. There's also, depending on, once again, the sponsorship level, ads on the radio, on KCRE, KPOD by Coastal Media, and banners being hung at the deck party, for the parade. lots of, a big nod in the thank you ad after the 4th of July in the triplicate, and nods on social media as well. So our parade sponsors get on the parade sign up so everyone sees that. And like I said, announcements during banners at the deck party, announcements at the deck party. We also have stage live music sponsors for the 4th of July in Beachfront Park. So lots of different opportunities to get your name out there.
That's fantastic. 11:15 the time. You're tuned to Community Service on KFUG Community Radio, talking with Sarah Caron from the Chamber of Commerce as we get into the, we've been talking nuts and bolts and things like that. Let's get into the activities. What's going to be happening this year? Well,
first of our parade theme this year is an American adventure.
An American adventure. Okay.
So that means that people who are considering entering the parade, a lot of times we look at parade theme readiness, how relevant their float is to the parade theme. So people looking at an American adventure, I've been recommending, go back to our roots. How about a Jed Smith float, or, our pioneer days as well. This is the first place. We haven't announced it yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
Remember last week we said we were going to announce the Grand Marshal here.
That's right. Exactly.
So.
All right. So Grand Marshal. This year's 4th of July parade.
Baird and Jane Rumiano.
There you go.
So this year is the 100th anniversary of Rumiano cheese.
That's amazing.
And it is amazing. We're so proud to have such an incredible company in our community. It's internationally known. Yeah. It is a local favorite, of course, and it is an honor to have, and shows how incredible the product is by having a business for 100 years. So we're really proud of them. And Baird and Jane are incredible community members.
It's wonderful.
They have done so much for our community, with Jane doing a lot of local youth coaching. She was the coach at Del Norte High School for the tennis team for, I would say, at least 20 years. She was there for a really long time and had such an incredible influence on our community. So we're really, really proud to have them and honored that they accepted the nomination. So they're going to be our Grand Marshals.
We've had, there was a radio show we used to have on KFUG called The Union Suit, and it was a bunch of young guys in their 20s, and they had hipster beards back before they were hipster beards, just sort of Del Norton, right? And just silly off-the-wall stuff. Here are these young kids having a good time on the radio. One show, they started talking about an aged cheddar. That was a Rumiano's aged cheddar that was kind of almost like off the menu, like somebody knew somebody and got this. And my mouth was, here are these guys, and they're just going off about Rumiano's cheese. And I'm going, I want some. I'm sorry, we ate it all. I'm like, oh, no, come on. It was just to see how much, I don't know how much a part of the community this remarkable business is. I mean, right down to I love Rumiano's. I love going and go shopping, and we go to the Rumiano's store. It's inexpensive, locally made, healthy. It's a wonderful product and a great family, and I think it's terrific that you guys that we're all honoring them this 4th of July. That's great.
Absolutely, and I love going around to the local businesses that proudly show that they serve Rumiano cheese. Yeah. I know right down the street that Park City little store and more, they proudly serve Rumiano cheese. Of course, Seaquake has partnered with Rumiano and has incredible opportunities for tasting lots of different styles of cheese at Seaquake. I love their garlic curds.
Oh yeah. Ooh, I didn't know they did the garlic curd.
Goodness.
I've had the curds, but I didn't know they did. Oh,
you haven't had a curd until you've had their garlic curd.
Okay,
I'm telling you, it's pretty special.
Duly noted. Okay.
So we're really honored to have them, and like I said, this is the first announcement. So we're so proud to have them as community members, and they've been such incredible community leaders that we're honoring them as Grand Marshal this year.
Wonderful. Do you know what they'll be be riding in?
Not yet. It's being worked out.
Okay.
A really cool, fancy, pretty car.
Sure, that's what I figured, something like that.
Probably a convertible.
So, you know,
if I'm going to narrow it down. I'm waiting for someone to take a motorcycle in a sidecar for the Grand Marshal. I think that would be the funnest
That would
ever.
be cool.
Maybe in 50 years, if I get selected as Grand Marshal, I'm going to be in the sidecar. Mark it here. You can quote me on that one.
Sidecar Grand Marshal.
Yeah, exactly. So in our parade also this year, we're going to continue our quiet zone. Last year, we were approached by an advocate,
Yes.
and they wanted to have a special quiet section. Now, this was the first time that we had ever done anything like this, and it was really great we got some really incredible feedback. I was a little nervous because change is really scary sometimes for people. And we had the section of I Street by the National Park headquarters and Child Care Council.
Where it jogs back over to front, right?
Exactly.
Right there. Yeah.
Yep. So that street was indicated a quiet zone. So no honking, no guns, no sirens. And it was all inclusive. So not only for people on maybe the spectrum that need to be able to, not be included in the parades or have to wear the headphones to have the peace. It was so inclusive, and as well as people who are on the spectrum that may need to have quiet. We had Vietnam and different types of veterans that really struggle with the noise during a parade come up to us and thank us for giving them an opportunity to enjoy the parade in a space that is safe and feels like a good, peaceful place. So
I love that the conversation with Kim earlier about the fair. I mean, they're doing the same thing at the fair, and to be more inclusive and to get more folks involved like that, and people who might be marginalized or left out of big loud things, like that's a beautiful thing. I applaud both of you guys for this. This is great.
Well, it was all because of someone in the community coming to us and saying, "Hey, what do you guys think about this?"
I remember that last year.
And it was a huge hit, and of course there were the people that, it's disappointing when you've had the same spot in the parade for 40 years and now it's silent, and I get it. I understand that change is hard, but just trying to be open-minded and inclusive of all of our community members. That's what this event is all about.
I think that you found the best spot to do that, though. I've been in the parade a couple of times, and coming down, you've got the big show down 3rd Street, and then you turn, and then you've got Front Street. So that little I Street stretch, that 2-block stretch right there, it's where I remember being in the parade, that's kind of where we kind of went,
right.
Okay, and took a breath and got to Front Street. That's a perfect place to put the quiet zone.
I'm glad that you think so, because of course, every decision we make takes an entire team of 4th of July planning committee, city, county, fire,
You could have just asked me.
Right. Well, next time it's on. I will avoid that whole rigmarole.
I know best.
So the parade this year, of course, our entries, the parade is free every year.
Yeah.
We are eliminating a lot of the ribbons. What happened is we had so many categories that it was, and we had, at the announcement of the parade, 90% of the people were not there. And then we called them, and a lot of people didn't even come and pick up their ribbons. Wow. The ribbons were a pretty big cost for a free parade. And so we're trying to, just give it a place of, we're giving a first, second, and third, and simplifying the process, and honoring the people that are in it with a plaque and a framed exciting certificate, and like I said, a first, second, and third. We'll still announce it at Beachfront Park, and the entries are now available. We're going to put them on Facebook, and we're also we have them available in our office as well.
What sort of deadline?
before the 4th.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Paul. If
right.
looks could kill.
For my next question, I have some math.
Oh,
I'd like
okay.
to-
Oh,
no, that's-
perfect. Math is my strong suit. Awesome.
Have you heard anything? I read something about one of the air wings locally is like flying up the coast on the 4th of July and doing like community flyovers. I didn't know if we'd been included in any of that.
I haven't been told about it, but
Okay.
it doesn't mean it's not happening.
'Cause I'm still enough of a boy that I'm a pacifist and I don't like war and the things of war in the industrial military complex, but jets.
Right. Well, I did just see some really great pictures of some flyovers over in Medford over Memorial Day weekend. It was
okay.
Medford and Grants Pass, I think, for the Boatneck Festival that
Oh,
they
right.
have. And it was incredible. I can see where you get that little boy tingle when, you know, you see a jet flying over. It's pretty exciting stuff.
All right.
I get it. So, with the Beachfront Park, so after the parade in Beachfront Park, this year we're going to have zip lines again. We're going to have a giant climbing wall. Remax is going to be there with their big hot air balloon.
Oh, cool.
And hot air balloon rides are best early in the morning. So you're going to want to get there early.
Why's that?
The wind picks up.
Oh, there you go.
So
Okay, yeah.
the calm morning, I believe they started at 7 in the morning on the
wow.
4th of July. So I'll confirm that.
How
next.
high up do you go? Do you know?
Not super high, but let me tell you, it's tethered the whole time.
Sure,
So I have never been on a hot air balloon, and it's a bucket lister for me.
Ooh.
And I went a few years ago on the Remax balloon on the 4th of July, and it was one of the funnest experiences just
Really?
because you get to go up high enough to kind of see a cool view of Crescent City, and you're in a hot air balloon.
Yeah.
It's a fun experience.
Fun,
So I
that's great.
definitely recommend getting there early and checking it out, and it's free.
And still like a lot of the other favorites and things happening in the park, right? So you got the
Pastels.
fire.
Well, I'm
Are we doing
waiting.
this?
Last year was the first year we brought back the Fireman's Ball,
Mm-hmm.
the water competition. And I've been trying to get a hold of Chief Gillespie, and I haven't. They were kind of meeting back and forth about it. So
Okay.
I don't have that confirmed yet.
Okay.
But we definitely have Pastels in the park, and that is a local favorite. It's such an incredible opportunity to check out some great artists, and the organization that puts that on with Ron Cole with Gateway Education and Adri Harris, they are just doing incredible things for this community, and the Pastels in the Park is just an incredible addition for our 4th of July festivity.
I love it. It's like the sandcastle competition, right? It's
which
like
is
something.
still happening.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's like something. Here's something creative and beautiful and interesting that is going through the course of the day to sort of wear away and sink back into nothingness. I love the poetry of that. Like,
absolutely. And it's such a fun event to have that sandcastles. I love seeing the creativity with what people choose to make. And you're right. And then it just kind of washes away.
Yeah.
I do love that the pastel stays for a little bit until we get a few big rains, and you can kind of walk the park afterwards and see little remnants of what was there. It's a really neat feeling. So this year, what we're going to be doing with our vendors, every year we have food and marketplace vendors. This year with the food and marketplace, we're really looking for local people, because a lot of times what happens is these vendors are coming from out of the area. They're on the circuit of, festivals and fairs. And we don't have a ton of local vendors. So we're really trying to make this a local event and showcase our local vendors. So we're giving them a local discount. And so if you're a vendor in Crescent City or Brookings, we're going to give you a $50 discount off of your vendor fee. The vendor fee is only $200, and people make a killing.
Sure, that's a big day. It's a big crowd.
It's a big day, and we've talked to vendors, and basically the vendors have told us this is a really low fee.
Oh, wow.
And so we're trying not to keep it, raise it too much on people, but give a local discount for people, as well as a lot of nonprofit organizations want to be involved in this. And last year we kept getting a question of, we're just here to sell raffle tickets for our nonprofit group.
Yeah.
We can't afford to spend $200 on, trying to sell $300 worth of tickets. So for that, we have given a nonprofit fee of just $50 for the booth.
Wow.
And so it makes it very reasonable for people to be able to giveaway for fundraisers. So it's really exciting for us to be able to have local people, nonprofit, and then we're also, typically the food is along the strip of pedestals in the park, and then the vendors are typically over in the parking lot of Kidstown.
Okay, right.
And what happened historically is that we have our deck party.
Yes.
And then we have awesome, responsible drivers who leave their cars and get right.
So, but the next morning when it's time to set up and do all of this, you've got
we have the tow truck there. And it's really unfortunate because we try. What we do first is we get a whole. It's kind of a process, but we give the plate numbers to Chief Menzel with the police department.
And what he looks them up and
he
calls
looks them up, and then if they're locals and we know their numbers, we'll just give them a call.
Wow.
And 9 times out of 10 that works. However, there is that one that doesn't work, and all of the vendors are delayed and wanting to have their spot, but there's a car parked there, and we have no one wants to start out the 4th of July with your car being towed. So we're trying to prevent that this year and instead move the vendors to Stamps Way, where we close off Stamps Way, and that's between the two parks. So we'll have Kidstown, and we'll have fun vendors.
Not the one at the beach, but the one that goes back to the beach, the main road.
Exactly, the main vein that goes exactly. And there's
That's
the
brilliant.
little island in between. So we're gonna have that all closed off, and then have the vendors so you can walk up and down. And to me, the flow and the logistics makes more sense. It's all just kind of a work in progress. Where I think every year, depending on who's planning it, we have a little bit of a different vision of what's going to happen. But I think that'll be really fun to have the vendors, and they're getting a little bit of a bigger space this year, so that they're able to spread out just a little bit more if they need it. So that's really exciting for us to have that new section.
And kudos to focusing on getting local vendors involved. I think that's really, really awesome.
Well, that's our job as the chamber, is to support the local businesses. And I really want to honor our local businesses and get them involved and get them in on a cut of this.
Right. It's a big,
the economy, because people that enter in the 4th of July, we're talking 30,000 people. So it's definitely a money-making event for the vendors as well. The other thing that may be happening this year, and it's going to be interesting to see the locals' input, is we're trying to maybe think about moving the deck party to a different location.
You know what date it is, right? Is that possible?
It is possible.
Okay,
so
nice.
it's a small move, so it's nothing major.
Okay.
All of the permits have been turned in for the city, and we're all dialed in. But there's 2 options that we're thinking of. Perhaps.
Pool party.
Right.
Seriously?
That would be, I don't know that I could mix in the alcohol consumption
and a water slide.
The deck party and a water slide. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't get signed off on that.
But you get points for going exactly.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
But kind of, you're right. So we're thinking of not in the pool. So we're thinking of, the deck party originally started in I believe 30 years ago. And it started out on the back deck, and they used to bring out a piano and play the piano on the back deck. And it was at this time, I believe it was an invite only type of situation.
I think it was longer than that, because I can remember a deck party from when my dad moved up here, and it was early 80s.
Okay.
So, and it was at that time still on the deck.
Right.
Yeah.
So we thought about doing that again this year. Let's bring it back to the deck. Well, thinking about the logistics of how many people attend the deck party, and then adding stairs, it scares me with the type of event this is.
Well, because it is now a community thing. I mean,
Absolutely.
it isn't. Yeah.
So we're considering either having it near the deck in that area or on the other side of the pool, just on the back parking lot of the pool. And then the view would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
The band this year we're having Disturbing the Peace.
Great.
And we are we're thinking about potentially having it on that back lawn on the back side of the pool, because the city is considering perhaps doing concerts in the park back there. And so it'd be a really nice trial run for that and see how that location would work. And like I said, it would be an incredible view for us to look out over the bay and the harbor. And I just think that, it's just a slight change, but I think that the flow and the logistics of having it back there makes sense. We haven't confirmed it yet, but it's where we're leaning towards. And yes, we need to get it dialed in and figured out very soon. But as far as it's going to be in the same general location, so there's not too big of a change to get the word out or anything like that.
Will moving that change the parking situation? I guess it doesn't need to be changed since you've moved the vendors and you're having the
parking situation specifically for the deck party or the next day.
Well, the next day.
Yeah,
I guess
it
both.
won't matter because that street's actually closed off.
Okay.
So yeah, it won't. I think having the vendors over there is going to be a lot easier in the morning. And yeah, it would be nice for us to be able to close it all off the night before. And I think that's what we did last year is we closed it off the night before. But unfortunately, some people still got in there. So it was one of those things that we're just trying to eliminate that for this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're thinking about doing that. And in our
how far along? I mean, how much of a possibility is the change of venue for the deck party?
Very.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually right before I came here, I did a walkthrough with Kyle, the assistant, and we kind of logistically thought about things. But we also have a deck party lead and we have a 4th of July lead. Eric Weir, our city manager, is who suggested it to me, and I thought, oh, this would be really great. And so we're just trying to make sure that people aren't going to think it's too drastic. You have to think about many facets when you make big changes, even if they're slight.
Would you keep the name? It's kind of a traditional name.
It definitely would keep the name because it's been the deck party for years and it hasn't been on the deck party for years. Yeah. So I think that, we would definitely keep the name, but maybe try to have something near the deck. I don't know, maybe a food. And that's the other thing is this year we're looking at having a food truck there. Historically, Schmidt's House of Jambalaya have been there, and this year they're unavailable. And so we're looking at maybe getting a food truck or two and trying to have like handheld things so people can still, have one hand available for their beer. And I think it's just, once again, an incredible community opportunity where the community comes together and every bit of that money goes towards the 4th of July fireworks for the next year.
Wow. The
other thing that's going to be slightly different this year is we're having a raffle. We have a raffle every year. It's a great moneymaker. It's a great community event for but everyone's a great opportunity for donating raffle prizes from your business. Historically, what has happened over the years is the raffle has turned into over 100 items, which is incredible. That's awesome.
But you got to stop everything. And
we have 3 hours to sell the tickets and get rid of 100 raffle prizes.
Wow.
So last year, it ended up being people stayed a lot later, and we're just kind of reevaluating what we can do to eliminate that. So this year, instead of having smaller raffle prizes, we're going to do 20 incredible raffle prizes. And so people will still be super stoked. That, to me, the raffle at the deck party is the best opportunity to win something, because it is, I mean, there's so many prizes and they're all pretty great, but this year we're going to make them big boys. Home Depot's going to be giving us a barbecue. We're trying. England Marine always gives us really great gifts. We're out there collecting. So if you are a business owner and are looking to donate, get a hold of us, because it's definitely a great opportunity to get your word out there.
Is there a dollar amount that you're looking for?
We're trying to keep $50 and above.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then with our insert that's going in the special section in the newspaper, we're also going to be giving some information about our deck party and the history. So Jackie Cochran is being interviewed because she was one of the founding members of the deck party. So she's going to give us a little bit of history in our insert. The insert's also going to have its Cochran family this year, apparently, because we're also interviewing Bob Cochran, who is this incredible community member, of course, Judge Bob Cochran now. And
I forget that. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Judge Cochran.
I gotta call him Your Honor when I see him.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
So Judge Cochran has been organizing our parade lineup for years. And it's one of these really unsung hero positions, because if you think about organizing 100 different floats in the proper lineup and proper positions, and the hours that he puts into that on the night of the 3rd, organizing everything, getting down there early on the 4th to help line it up. So we're going to give an interview from Bob on the history of the parade, and
that's awesome.
I think it'll be really fun to have that.
I had no idea that he was the person responsible for the order of the parade. That's
exactly.
Great. Wow.
Yeah. So I like I said, it's one of these unsung positions that I really would like to honor him in all that he does, because it is a big sacrifice, and he's the only one that does it. And it's a big deal.
And sacrificing for the community is kind of a habit he has too. But then that's also, you say it's an unsung sort of position, an unsung role to have, but yet one that colors the whole day.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Wow.
And we are so grateful to Bob that he does that, because it is a lot of work and a huge key role in our community for making this event successful. So we're really proud to have him doing that again. So that's going to be in our special section as well. So we're really excited. There's lots coming up. If you're interested in getting in the parade, being a sponsor, or volunteering, we're still looking for people who can help us volunteer. We, of course, have our Cow Chip Bingo sponsorship event. Tickets are on sale at the chamber office. If you don't know what Cow Chip Bingo is,
then where have you been?
Where have you been?
All right, now before we get into this,
yes,
you shared an important detail about your past life before we went online. You are an actual co-winner of Cow Chip Bingo. I don't know if I've ever met anybody who won Cow Chip Bingo. What's your secret? How'd you do it?
My secret is I buy them every year.
And you gotta play.
You gotta play to win. I always buy $20 worth ahead of time, and then $20 worth on the day of, because they go around selling them in the lineup, in the parade.
Okay.
So for me, I feel like I'm kind of getting the best of both worlds, where I get some of these numbers tickets early, and then on the day of tickets.
You got
right. So I was a co-winner. So I won I got the $750 plop is what they call it.
But I love the way that you said that you were a co-winner. Is that you had to share the plop.
I had to share the plop. Yeah.
What'd you call,
So I still got a great amount of money. It was an incredible opportunity. And this is put on by the Stroptimus, co-chaired with the Chamber of Commerce. So we're out selling tickets if you want to get a chance for your piece of the plop.
Piece of history.
Then the chamber has tickets for sale, and it's a great opportunity that supports not only the Chamber of Commerce, but the Stroptimus, which is Women's International Organization that supports scholarships for women, and they are an incredible organization in our community. I'm really proud to be working with them.
Worldwide too, yeah.
Worldwide, absolutely.
Who judges the flops or the plops?
Seroptimus there's 3 people from the chamber, 3 people
Is
from
there a panel?
There's a panel of ploppers. Yeah. Yep.
Because I mean, if you had to split 50-50, right?
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out the rubric by which somebody went, yeah, that's a 50-50 plot.
Right. They plopped on the line. And so it was between mine and another person's. And so we split the jackpot.
I'm just wondering, I mean, do they split them like, 80-20? Do you eyeball it and go,
yeah. This piece of grass in the plop is on this side.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to find out because we're once again needing volunteers for that. So I'm sure I'll be down there checking it out. And if anyone is interested in volunteering, either for the 4th of July, the deck party, or at our visitor center, because we're past Memorial Day now, so we are getting hit by the tourists, and it is incredible. Yesterday we had 100 visitors in our visitor center, and we're still looking for volunteers. So if you have a couple hours a week to go talk to people about Stout Grove and about the awesome things in our community, we're still looking for volunteers.
And what's your phone number there?
464-3174.
3174. So you're looking for volunteers in the visitor center, but also specifically for the events, for the deck party and for the 4th of July. What do your volunteers do the day of the 4th of July or at the deck party?
It depends on what you want to be involved in. There's still opportunities for selling tickets, for selling Couch at Bingo tickets, for being a judge with this Couch at Bingo. We are always looking for people to help out at the deck party with serving and, of course, selling raffle tickets and alcohol tickets and being security, and there's lots of positions available.
Great. Okay. So you can get involved in any manner, all manners, the 4th of July, the deck party, or just help them out at the visitor center, the Chamber of Commerce, because we are into the high holy days of tourism here. Give the chamber a call, 464-3174. What else you got, Sarah?
I think that's it. We're gearing up for a really fun summer. Of course, this weekend, Redwood Rides is having their big party. It's their 5th anniversary.
That's right.
They're doing a float and a barbecue. Go check it out. 5th anniversary. So proud of those guys in our community and what they're doing and really growing and building an incredible ecotourism organization. I'm really proud of them.
It's a wonderful business, yeah. With Adam and
Alex.
I knew it started with an A, but I can never remember Alex.
They're
Adam
incredible.
And Alex
They're doing a great job,
and it's a business for the future, which is super cool too.
Absolutely, yep. And then of course next Thursday we have our Frank's Refrigeration, Heating and Refrigeration, the Mailroom and Copy Center joint mixer. So that'll be really fun. 5:30. It's a joint mixer. They know how to throw a party over there.
Really?
So I would definitely say if you're going to go hit up a mixer, hit up this one.
This is the one, right?
This is a good one. And of course, I'll got to give a nod. 50th anniversary this year of the Gasky Rough Races. So that's a huge thing for our community. 50 years of having this event, and it really is my favorite event in Del Norte County.
That's awesome. What's the date? It's the
like weekend
mid-July?
After the 4th of July. I believe it's the 13th.
Okay, yeah. Excellent. That's fantastic. And that's our summer right there.
There it is.
And I forget about that's another anchor store is the Gasky Raft Race, one of those events that you can sort of plan
It's our Claire's Boutique.
Sarah, thank you very, very much for coming in and sharing with us. And I hope, obviously not a listener, and I hope that we can certainly talk a lot more about the 4th of July between now and the 4th of July.
You know it.
All right, Sarah Caron from the Crescent City Del Norte Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for stopping in. Here's some Pixies for you while I answer the phone on KFUG Community Radio.